I wrote, I am. Are you? He says, no, but Andy, his beautiful wife, she saw on Facebook, are you with the dude from America's Got Talent? I said, yeah. You want to go to his show? Hell yeah. We watched that show. And actually, we were talking this weekend about what horse it was that he didn't make it. We thought he was the best of the season. Is the show Thursday? Because I'm out of town Thursday. I said, well, you better go see him tomorrow night in Wasilla. Now, keep in mind, this was yesterday. I wrote it. He goes, can you get tickets for that? I said, yeah, how many do you need? He goes, just 2. He said, that is awesome. Thanks, cool. Appreciate the tickets. And then it's funny is one girl on Facebook writes, oh my God, that's Ryan Andreas from America's Got Talent. And she goes, how did you know he was in town?
Yeah, you're the reason this is all came together.
That's funny, man. It's always
so
funny.
Blessed by it.
Yeah, I got the bat signal. You know, I got the bat signal. So before you play your song here, and we got a couple of songs. You can do a cover first, and you'll do your original. Let's talk about AGT, America's Got Talent. #1 show in the country, by the way.
Yep.
It even beat out the final of The Voice,
yep.
Which was, everyone thought that would be the number. No, it's not. Everyone's watching this show. It's a great show. The production value on it is top notch. They do a great job. You were one of the favorites.
Yes.
Matter of fact, last year on America's Got Talent, I picked the winner. As soon as I saw Michael Grimm, I picked him the next day. I said, that guy's going to win.
You could always tell, I mean, how obviously talent's in the title, but the separation is there.
Right.
I mean, even people like us, like lay people, although we're in the business sort of, kind of, we could tell right away, man, okay, that's, you go up to the top, the rest of you go over here.
Right.
It's just something that you could tell right away. It's just, it hits you, especially with a singer. I mean, when everyone saw the first performance, the first notes, man, you had, everybody was right there.
Well, I think it's kind of a mix between how well the show presented my story. Presented my story of coming up out of basically nowhere, and not a gigging or touring musician at all, not in the public space, performing, just playing in my bedroom, and being out there on stage doing something that meant something to me, and doing it for my family, and the public at large has latched on to and been inspired by the story of the everyday man.
Well, I mean, it had all the elements too. I mean, the fact that you were, you weren't talking on the microphone. You were so unaccustomed to being a spotlight guy. Yeah. It's like, wow, this guy is the real deal. You know what I mean? And you can tell when the polished people, because America's Got Talent doesn't say you can't be a professional to be on their show.
No, not at all.
It's like the guy, the comedian Geechee Guy. He's been around forever. He's been around forever. He's been here decades ago. He's been doing stand-up comedy.
And he's funny.
He's hilarious. Yeah. But I mean, it's not like he just came off the street.
Yeah, many of the artists that I saw there were our gigging and touring musicians themselves. Had been in the game, had already had CDs out.
Correct.
I had none of that. I didn't have a YouTube entity. I didn't have anything.
Nothing.
I didn't have a website. I didn't have any of that.
Right, and so people have latched on to that this is really an underdog story, right? So Vegas, you go to Vegas, and like I told Mark off the air, he asked me if you've seen it yet. I said, no, I can't watch it. I don't want to watch it.
I haven't seen it either. My kids have.
Right. Now,
but I haven't.
What do you think was different about your Vegas performance that didn't move you through to the final 48 to move on to Hollywood than the first one? What do you think was different?
It could have been a culmination of things. I remember it all vividly, and I remember being in a scenario and situation on stage where the production was in full swing. I was one of hundreds of contestants that were going through that day. One of the biggest things that affected my performance was a lack of a studio audience. There was no studio audience there. One of the beautiful things that was captured on video in full 1080p HD on NBC in LA was 3,000 people rooting for you.
Right.
An entire auditorium connected with you, even though they don't know you, inspired by something that you're doing. And the performance that I gave on TV was how I was feeling inside. And how I was feeling inside, you guys, was spectacular. Because the minute my voice hit the microphone, the oohs, the ahs, the breaths, the applause, the standing ovations, the hands in the air, that all egged me on and made me perform that song like I never performed it in my entire life. I played that song a zillion times in my bedroom with none of that oomph behind it. And
you feed off it immediately.
Yeah, that performance wasn't a staged, practiced performance. What you're seeing there was an improv. and it was directly representative of how I felt from the crowd. When you walk out on when I walked out in Vegas, there was 3 judges in front of us, and there was nobody else in the auditorium, and there was no feedback. There was no "you're doing well" or "you're doing sucky." You're moving us, or you need to leave now.
Right.
There was none of that. On top of the fact that I couldn't hear what I was doing on stage. I was literally playing blindly, you guys. I was performing without any in-ear monitoring system or even floor wedges. I could barely hear the keys that I was pressing.
Right.
And what you heard, or what the small snippet that they showed, was muscle reflex.
Right.
You know, muscle memory, should I say. I was playing blindly. I couldn't hear what I was doing, and my voice was restricted because of it.
You know,
I was terrified that I was in the wrong key.
That happened, I don't know if it was last year or a couple of years ago. There's a piano player, and one of his backup singers knocked out the piano. So he was playing,
the monitor,
but you couldn't hear him.
Oh,
you know,
geez.
and it's like, well, that's tough.
Well,
tough
even
luck.
with a keyboard, it's different. I mean, if I had chosen an acoustic guitar or even a grand piano,
right,
where acoustically I could hear the strings resonating on the stage, that's different.
Right.
Then I could know I'm singing in the right variations.
Right.
I could not hear the keyboard coming back at me.
Yeah.
I heard a glimpse of it echoing off the wall that was 500 feet one way.
All right, so let's fast forward.
Yeah.
You don't make it through to Hollywood. And now here's a chance for all these folks that are supporting you to jump off the bandwagon. Say, we liked him. He's not going to make it, so we'll move on and we'll follow this guy.
Right.
That didn't happen.
No, it's
the
not.
exact opposite happened. And it's amazing how you went from, 250 to 300,000 YouTube hits to over 1 million right after that show aired, because now people were like pissed. And so they were telling their friends they screwed up. They made a mistake. Mm-hmm. When I heard about it the next day, someone had texted me on our phone here, "Hey, your boy didn't make it through." I thought, nah, there's no way. He's my winner. He's going to win this damn show. There is and has been a grassroots effort to get you back on this show, and they do have what's called a wild card. And I know you can't get into details, and I appreciate that, because the show is filmed quite a few weeks in advance.
Yeah.
So was last night's show live?
The recent
Hollywood shows,
now
those are live.
Literally, they're pretty live.
I got you.
Yeah, it's like same day, right?
You got to remember that what they had done previously was they had to tour the entire United States,
correct,
and create that production
and edit it all together, and it takes a lot of time.
Now they're in LA and they're doing their thing, and I know the contestants that are in it, and it's live.
Now, after you said what you just said about the performance there and not having anything like that, I mean, a lot of that's technical. I'm no genius. But did you get to talk to people involved with the show after that?
No.
Or they just said...
Again, I can't speak a lot to what happens behind the scenes. Yeah. But it was very minimal discussions, man. I mean, when you leave, you leave.
Right. Because it's got...
When you leave, you leave.
I'd be shaking my head if I was on that staff saying,
There was there was something different that happened in LA. There was preparation. There was a sound check. Mm-hmm. There was basic stuff that you do. I would do for playing in front of 30 people, let alone 3,000 people.
Right.
And none of that was provided. And
so what happens now?
At this point,
yeah. Can you even talk about it?
Going forward for. What I want to do?
I know what you want to do. I'm talking about America's Got Talent. I'm staying there. When do they do the wild card deal?
I have no idea. And to be honest with you, this is all fan based. This is all fan generated.
Right.
And all we can do at this point is I'm asking upon my fans and my supporters and people that have found my voice is to continue the fight to get me back on the show. Vindication.
Right.
Vindication to do what's right, to get me back on stage, to allow me to show the world and to blow all the naysayers to the side.
Right.
I wonder if a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, I'm a casual, or have been a casual viewer of that show. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I've had fans come in and say, I wish you the best. You're going to do great on the show. Like they didn't know that I was axed.
Right.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, do they even know that it's possible to bring someone back? A lot of people might not know about that.
But it's not 100% that they're even going to implement that this year. People are hoping for that. Uh-huh. They're hoping that kind of it's been done, I guess, on previous years.
Right.
But it can't hurt to send emails to people.
It can't. Yeah. Let your voice be heard.
Absolutely.
I let my voice be heard, and I'm hoping the people that were inspired by that do the exact same thing.
All right, I tell you what, speaking of that, let's hear your voice. Ryan Andreas is in the studio.